Even if you break even, you're winning because more people now know about your brand and you've grown your company more than you would have otherwise. Short form content is king, having a very strong hook. And I cannot say this enough, test everything.
All right, so today we have Justin. So Justin is my wife's cousin. And today we're talking about ads and marketing, which is extremely important. Justin, thanks for jumping on with us this morning.
Of course, Will, of
I
course.
definitely appreciate it. So a little bit of background for you guys. Justin is a business owner and entrepreneur. He actively right now has a client, ASRV, that he does paid advertising for. Over his decade career in ad marketing and basically paid ads, he has managed over $18 million worth of paid media over his decade-long career. And some of the big names that he has actually done work for is Publix, the grocery store.
Yes.
Toyotas. He's been on assisted Toyota's marketing team, and then Evian water. So I'm super excited to have Justin on here because if there's one person that I reach out to about how to run paid ads, it's this man right here. So
that is true. You do like to text me about it.
Yeah. I'm hoping we're gonna get some great value. Anybody that is watching this at a later date, I promise you're gonna want to watch all the way to the end on this, because the thing is this. So we live in the 21st century today, right? It is mind-boggling to me. I do a ton of coaching calls and there's so many people like, hey, Will, how do I run paid ads? And if you are not utilizing paid ads, to me, it's crazy. Like the people that think like, yeah, okay, I'm going to grow my business based on referrals. Like that is not going to build you a big business. Like you have to figure out paid advertising. It is required in this type of new era that we are going towards. You know, to my understanding, there's 7 different platforms to do paid advertising on. The average person sees 13,000 ads a day. So how do we build an ad so good that you don't waste your money on this thing? Because the reality is I believe 98% of people that try these platforms just waste their money. And I don't want you, the people that are watching today, to waste your money on this. And so that's why we have the expert here to hopefully share some insight here, because this man, he's the man. He's the wizard when it comes to marketing. So no, I really appreciate you coming on, Justin. So
of course.
Cool. So I talked a little bit about this, but we are doing paid ads. We've got about, a few videos in the making with our video editor right now. So Justin, what would you say like is the most important maybe thing? Like let's talk maybe specifically Facebook ads for now in that realm. Like what do you think makes a successful Facebook ad? Because even when I was down there, you were showing me kind of videos of the ones that you were making, like, and with AI today, like there's so much you can do.
Oh, there's a lot you can do.
What separates like a good ad from like, hey, I'm just going to waste my money on this type?
Oh, good question. Very good question. I would say a good ad requires several like core pieces, right? You have to like fully explain and simplify your business. Like what's your value proposition? Who are you? You have to understand the platform you're on. So for Meta specific, right? You're on a platform where people are spending their time and they're not there looking for anything in particular, right? They're either on Facebook or Instagram and they're just scrolling through their phone and they're looking at their friends' feeds. They're looking at people they follow, things they're interested in. Like that's their focus and that's why they're on social media. They're doing that. So in order to really make an ad work, you have to stand out. Not only do you have to simplify like your business as a whole into an ad, but you also have to have like a really strong hook. So the first 3 to 5 seconds of the ad really matter. And then like digging into Facebook more, or Instagram, honestly, video right now and short form video is definitely where it's at. 100%. I've really been like researching it. I've been watching thousands of videos trying to understand like best way to just interact with the different platforms that I'm advertising on, because I'm advertising on quite a few. For Meta specifically, short form content is king. Having a very strong hook really matters. And then simplifying like, who are you? Why do you matter? How can you help someone? Yeah, having some sort of curiosity-driven based marketing where you answer a good question. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot you can do. But yeah, one other quick thought too, I would say testing. Testing is key to Meta. So instead of just running one ad, you're like, all right, I've got a good ad, I've got a good hook, I've got my value proposition in there. Like people understand this business. It's simple. Like for you to be lawn, let's say it's just you're trying to get people, what your basic service, right? Just cutting people's lawns, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you're just trying to get that. So you have a very clean ad about that. It's great, but for some reason it doesn't work. You could think that it's going to be the best ad. You could think it's going to crush it, and it just doesn't happen. And that's okay. So it's all about testing, and you want to test 3-5 variations per ad group at any given time. But it also depends on budget. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's really good. That's really good. So out of all the platforms, so you're saying video specific is the one that's working the best right now, right? What do you like do you think Facebook ads like cuz you have TikTok ads, you could probably do Instagram
Mm-hmm.
ads, Facebook. Like what is it which platform do you think, cuz I mean you probably wouldn't run Google ads on or video much on Google ads, right? Or even like Google local service ads. I mean, we're running that, but
Oh,
there's
yeah.
no video involved with that, right?
It depends. So Google's in a weird spot too, because they're moving more and more to video, even with like their pay-per-click stuff. So if you're running like a traditional pay-per-click ad, it's just like for your business, right? Someone searches online on Google, I need someone to cut my grass today, who can I pay or whatever. Any type of search. I'm unfamiliar with the search terms related to your particular business, but if anyone searches that thing, you pop up and you have a very brief message with 2 headlines and a description, really simple, that just says, we're military lawn cuts, we can come cut your grass, our prices, blah blah blah, here's our website. And that's like a traditional pay-per-click ad. But Google is now moving away from that, and they're trying to do a lot more with AI, and they're integrating AI into their platform, and they're trying to essentially make you pay for ads that run on more of their services, similar to Meta. So instead of just buying like a pay-per-click ad, which is like the normal way that we've done it for the last decade, they want you to now buy like a pay-per-click ad and also like a YouTube ad, and they want you to show up on the various other platforms that Google is paying for, the various other placements across the internet. So like Google will pay Wall Street Journal, for example, to have like little ads pop up on Wall Street Journal, and then you can buy that placement through Google Ads. And so Google wants to sell as much as possible and optimize as much as possible. So they say, and this is not my advice to follow, but they say just give us everything. So that means give us ad copy, give us images, give us videos. We'll take it all and we'll optimize it for you, right? And we'll push it out to all the different platforms and we'll get you the best results. And that's what Google is like saying, essentially.
Wow.
That's what they're saying essentially. And
That's crazy.
depending on your business, depending on what your offer is, depending on everything, you may or may not want to test that. But I've found, I don't know if I'm just a control freak when it comes to advertising, but when you break those things out, you usually get better results.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. That would be a powerful tool. And it's probably maybe so new to where it's like they're still working some of the kinks out, maybe. I don't know. To
I
where
mean,
maybe like 2 or 3 years from now, that might make sense. Like put everything in there, pictures, videos, and then let them figure out which ones works better. Or you are the expert and you get down deep into the weeds of things and you just know exactly like, hey, this stuff's working on these kinds of platforms. These ones aren't working on this type of platform. Is that kind of like what you're seeing currently?
that's what I'm seeing currently. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm seeing
Okay.
like some stuff is working, some stuff is not working quite as well. But again, and I cannot say this enough, and I cannot emphasize it enough, test everything.
Yeah.
Because different businesses have different offers that work in different places. And even like I've been doing this for a long time, and I would consider myself very, very, very good at it. There's been campaigns I've run in 2 weeks, I'll spend $600,000. And so you learn a lot when you're doing campaigns at that scale, at that level, in various platforms too. When you're doing that, you pick up a lot of things, and then you have a lot of learnings that you can base things from. But you want to be really careful about your assumptions, because next time you run an ad, right, even if it's very similar, it's going to be to a different audience, because the audience is always going to vary slightly. Even if you have the same target audience, the platform will still show it to slightly different people than it did last time. Those people will be slightly different because it'll be a different time in their lives, and the time of year will be different. So even if you run a Christmas ad at Christmas, wait a whole year and run another Christmas ad, there's a whole new like political climate. There's a whole bunch of other stuff happening, external factors that matter and factor into that campaign. So you have to
Yeah.
think about it like the whole big picture and then like bring it down. And it's fun. It's
Mhm.
very, very fun for me. I love that stuff.
So like if so what I'm hearing, to sum that up, is it's constantly changing. Like that
Oh
is
yeah,
the constant in this, that the market's changing, the timing's changing, the offer's changing, the people are changing.
everything.
And so you really have to have that pulse on
Hmm.
top of it. And that's why I'm saying, like, even at the beginning of this video, literally 98% of people are going to try paid
Yeah,
advertising and
and
probably
waste
just
it.
waste money.
Waste it.
So the question is, how do you either become the 2% that lives, breathes, eats, and sleeps this stuff and studies it like you, or two, you hire somebody like you to who study, lives, breathes this stuff for the last decade, and then hire a professional that you trust that can handle this so that way you can become in that 2% category where you can literally put $1 in and get 3 back or 5 back or
Oh
7
yeah,
back,
that's
right?
the goal.
To grow and scale your business so that way you don't plateau. So talk to me about like testing, right? So you've mentioned that a few times in
Oh
this
yeah.
video, right? How do you how should I test, right? Like, so we've got a video I think going live today, right?
Mhm.
So I think when we were talking a little bit previous of this video, you said when the video goes live, wait 3 days and do not check it.
Yep. Well,
Why?
great question. So a lot of people will dive right in, check their ad, like, and I cannot tell you because I've dealt with clients at like the biggest levels, like you're talking about Toyota, Publix, like huge clients. And I've also dealt with clients at the smallest levels, like people spending less than $1,000 in a month on paid ads, which is like very, very small, very minimal budget. And I've gotten more texts than I can count from people. As soon as they turn on their campaign, they wait an hour and then they go, it's not working. It's already spent $7. And I go, oh no, what did we do wrong? Super sarcastically. You have to let the platform, whatever platform you're in, you got to give it time to optimize and understand what you want. So when you have a whole bunch of levers and inputs in any platform, like on Meta, for example, you choose like your audience, you choose how much money you're going to put in, you choose the creative you want to use. So the video that you're going to have live, that's all really great. But then you send that into Meta, right? Meta ads like processes it, pushes it out there, and then it's going to take that and test it against audience segments. And so what does that mean? Let's say you're targeting that group we were talking about the other day, and it's like 60,000 people, give or take, right?
Mhm.
Meta will take that group at 60,000 and it will dice them up into a bunch of smaller groups. And those groups are all based on a common or shared interest. So, for example, in that 60,000 people, there might be 5,000 that are really interested in trucks or something weird. And then another 5,000 that love sports. And then another 10,000 that are really interested in like improving their homes or something. And so, like, and there's like an infinite number of groups. So I'm just keeping it very simple
Mhm.
for the explanation. But let's say Meta was to test the one and test, they test 300 people in that first group and like none of them convert. So it goes, okay, we'll go on to the next group and we test another 300. None of them convert. The next group. And so Meta's constantly like trying to find the portion of your audience that is best for your ad. And they're trying to make things work for you. And that's what their algorithm does. And because that's the case, when you turn an ad on, you usually want to wait, depending on your budget, I'd say at least 3 business days though, or
Mhm.
3 days in general, depending on when you turn it on. You wait a couple days and then go back in and check the metrics. So you have enough data to really go off of. And you've given Meta enough time to really understand what you're shooting for and
Mhm.
try to find that person.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. That's really interesting. I did not know that it compartmentalized the
It does.
types of groups, but that makes sense. That makes sense. It takes time. There's an algorithm there. It's testing to see which groups. So okay, that's really interesting. So let's talk about the frequency number. So we were
Oh
talking
yeah.
about you had mentioned that there's a certain number of frequency. So what is frequency? What does that mean when you're looking at that report? And what number do you not want it to go above and why?
Great questions. Whew. Okay, I could talk about this for a long time, to be honest with you, Will. And
So
I could
maybe try to sum it up in a condensed version.
Of course. No, of course, of course.
Yeah.
So depending on your budget, right, there's a few factors that weigh in to monitoring frequency. And before I talk about those factors, even, let me just tell you why frequency matters. If any of you viewers have ever seen an ad too many times, right? And you see that ad like 20 times, you're like, I'm tired of that ad. Like, I can think of like 3 off the top of my head. One of them's a Papa John's ad that I've been seeing recently. And I'm just getting targeted way too much with that same ad. And I don't even like Papa John's, right? So I'm like, I'm not in their target market. I'm not buying their product. And I've seen their ad like 20 times in a week. And I'm just tired of it. So it's a bad experience. And not only that, but Papa John's is wasting money on me because I'm not going to buy. So it makes no sense to keep targeting me with the same ad over and over. So frequency for Papa John's in that case, for me, would be 20 times, because that means I've seen the ad 20 different times in that week time frame. So frequency is just a metric, and it explains, depending on how long you choose in your time frame, how many times the average person has seen your ad.
Got it.
So yeah, so all that is impressions and reach, and explaining the difference between them. So on Meta, for you, Will, when you check your ad, it's going to say you reached 10,000 people, but you had 30,000 impressions. So that means your frequency is most likely about a 3. And that means each of those individual people saw your ad 3 times.
Yeah.
But it's not always 1-to-1. It doesn't always work perfectly. Like, some of those people would have seen it 4 times or 5 times. Some of them might have only seen it 2 times or 1 time. So you got to understand that too, because people log in at different amounts. People are online different times. So yeah, a lot of factors weigh in, but it really matters because you don't want to waste your budget by over targeting the same person over and over and over.
So what would you say is like that, like the average amount of times to where a customer is like seeing the ad and they're not going to convert, where
Great
it's like,
question again. Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, I've got very complex setups for my campaigns where I'm running multiple campaigns. Any given campaign only shows ads to an individual one time, and then they advance to the next ad. So I use a whole set. It's called ad sequencing. It's something that YouTube developed 5 years ago, somewhere in there. Basically, essentially, you're showing the ad one time, and then based on that viewer completing some sort of action, so like they viewed your ad up to 50%, then they advance to see the next ad.
Wow.
And you can do this whole sequencing setup to make sure your frequency never gets tired.
Yeah.
But in addition, you can do like retargeting methods too, where it's like, say I'm a bigger brand. I'm a smaller, middle-sized brand. I have 6 campaigns running, right? Because if you don't have a lot of budget, you can only run so many campaigns. I'm running all 6 of those campaigns, and frequency is getting like fairly high. So like 3, 4, 5. Some of them are getting 7, 8. One's at 12. You really got to be careful and monitor those. And the reason is you don't want to waste that budget. So in order to avoid it, I generally either switch the creative out in those cases if I'm not doing like an ad sequencing lineup, because it's like, all right, now it's time to hit with those people with a new creative, something different that they haven't seen. Or it's time to switch the audience, and that requires most likely a new campaign.
Wow, that's really interesting. Actually, funny you say that. So you know who Ty Lopez is?
Yes.
So I just saw an ad from him, and he's talking about paid advertising, literally what we're talking about right
that
now,
guy.
and like how you need to be utilizing it and all this stuff. And in the video, he's like, look, you don't even need to put your email in. You don't need your phone number. It's completely free. Like, just click the button and learn more. And so he's probably using that sequence to where when you click the button, then that notifies him. That's like, oh, this person was interested. Now we're going to run these other ads, these secondary
That's
ads.
exactly what
I'm
he's
like,
doing.
dude, like
That's all he's doing. 100%. And
incredible.
it's really not like, so Ty, I met him in San Diego, and
Oh,
he's
really?
not, I mean, some people are very, very good at advertising and marketing themselves as like, we're really
Sales.
good at this. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
But then there's a difference too from like, and you can see it when you've been in it for a long time, and in whatever industry, the people that like are all, bluster, I guess is one way to say it. They're not always the people that know like all of the details and know specifically what to do in all these circumstances. And
Yeah.
because I've
Well,
worked at,
they
oh,
probably hire people like you that know the ins and outs of the system and
sometimes,
everything,
sometimes no, sometimes it's all bluster, and they lose. Like I've worked at a number of ad agencies, right, prior to starting and founding my own. And I've worked at like some bigger ones where like people have things buttoned up. There's systems, there's processes, there's constant communication with the platforms, meaning like you're on calls with Google, you're on calls with Meta, and they're not like your typical Meta rep that doesn't really know much and just gets you to try to spend more money. They're like people that actually know the platform, and they're higher up in Meta and they understand things and they're working with you to get the best results because you're giving them, 20, 40, $50 million a year for who you're working with, Toyota, Publix, Party City, whoever.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's wild. That's wild. Well, cool. So that's really, really good information. If you don't mind, I was actually going to pull up our like ad manager account on Facebook since
Yeah,
we're talking about this.
absolutely.
And then here, let me share my screen real quick. And then we can, so again, these ads that these are like a little bit older ads. A couple of years ago, I dabbled in it and probably lost money. So what I want to look at is basically how to like analyze to see how well it did. Like these are probably all going to perform poorly, but
Mhm.
hopefully you can help me like, and anybody that's watching who is running ads kind of go in and look and see how it did. So can you see my screen?
I can. Yes, I
All
can.
right. So these are kind of, I guess, the ads that I was running. I don't even know if it shows like date of when they were running, but and then obviously like the daily budget. So let's maybe first talk about that, right? So like for a daily budget, I've heard some people, that are very small budgets. They're like, hey, look, start with $10 just to test it. And then there's some people that I talk to that do 50, 60, $70,000 worth of paid advertisements. And they're like, yeah, we start with like $100, $125 a day.
Mhm.
What would you recommend to somebody or me that is like, what budget should I be running these 15-second video ads on?
It honestly all depends on your scale and what you want to happen. If you have like, I've been on this really big like Mr. Beast kick for some reason, but if you have like a Mr. Beast mindset where you're just basically every dollar you earn, you're putting back in your business and you're putting it towards advertising and just growth. I mean, the more you spend, the quicker your tests go. So the higher you can scale and perform better quicker.
Got it.
So if I had, let's just say I in particular had $100,000 for my business and I can choose when to spend it over the course of a year, I would probably do something called a flight. And that's just like a time period of an advertisement. And I would do a shorter one on purpose and I would test larger right off the bat. So I would start an ad $300 a day, $250 a day, something like that. Learn from it in 2 days, learn fast, fail fast, pause what doesn't work, keep going what's working. And then just like as I figure out more things that are working quicker, because using that method, I could probably find really good stuff in an account in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So I know there's there's an ad manager library that you could search other
Yes.
companies that are running ads.
Yes.
Do those show the videos or is it just picture ads?
No, they show the videos too. Yeah.
Really?
I'm in,
Okay,
I'm in there
so
all the time.
let's do that real quick because I'm really curious on this. So ad manager library. I guess let's just use Ty Lopez for example.
Okay.
Maybe. So United States, all ads. Let's just do Ty Lopez. So let's just say, hey, I like his ads
Mhm.
just for simple service or simple instructions, right?
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
this person I see on Facebook, he's running ads. He's got Drake in here, got a few videos. How do I look at this? Okay, so this looks like it was started on February 21st, right? Like, I mean, that's only a couple of weeks. Like, how do I see? Oh, I guess see ad details, huh?
For what? Well, what are you trying to see?
Just to see like, okay, this maybe video that he ran, I thought it would like, we're just going to make a pretend thing here. Like, hey, let's just say I thought this was really good. So I want to run it, come in here and see if this ad was good so I can maybe model or duplicate it so I don't waste a ton of money. You know what I mean? Do I just like, does it give you the details of like how it's doing or can you only see like how long it's been running?
No, yeah. So if it gave you the details of how it's doing, that would kind of be a massive cheat code. So it does
I'm
do
in.
that.
All right.
Because it would be great to be like, oh, this ad is crushing it because it's getting clicks at, blah, blah, blah CPC and it's getting conversions at blah, blah, blah CPA. That would be fantastic to know for me. But no, because they want to protect the brand to an extent, they do not outwardly display all of those different metrics that are kind of key to understanding the ad. But what I do is I scroll down further. So can you scroll all the way to the bottom of his stuff?
Yeah.
Because these are
Wow.
only his active ads, and you see the active. So you want to go back to your competitors' ads, go to their last ads that they've got triggered, that they've got running the longest.
So it looks like January 29th.
Okay, so his are not they're very new. They're not very old. But you could go probably for you, Will, for military lawn cuts, you could probably go back to some of your competitors,
Mhm.
scroll to the bottom of some of their ads that they're running, and see things that they've been running for 6 months, 3 months. And then because they've been running it for so long, either it's one of two things. Either whoever's running it doesn't know what they're doing and they're just wasting money, which is a possibility. But the
Yeah.
second one I think is a little more likely because most people want their business to succeed. They will probably only be spending money on things that are succeeding. And if you work with that in mind, oh, perfect, True Green.
Yeah, let's use True Green as an example.
Yeah.
Here's the only kind of flip side of that. So 6 months makes sense to me,
Mhm.
right? Like that they're running it for 6 months. But do you think that it changes with a seasonal business? Because
Oh yeah.
obviously, I don't know if they would be running ads maybe in like December. Let's see what we got
Let's see.
here.
Yeah, let's see how old this one is.
So yeah, this
January
one
23rd.
also
Okay.
In January.
Yeah. So I mean, True Green, that's a tough one because they're bigger.
Wait,
And so when you have a bigger company that's more nationwide and they have larger budgets, they do a lot of flights, which is what I was saying. And that's like they will on purpose plan campaigns out for like this campaign will be live from this day to this day. No matter how it performs, it's only live in that time frame. So even if it gets 12 ROAS, meaning for every dollar you spend, the return on ad spend is $12. So they're like literally printing money. They still pause the ad. And to me, that's crazy. But bigger businesses do that. They set up flights because they don't want the frequency to get too high, because they want to change things up. They want to keep their brand fresh. They're worried about protecting their brand image. That's what they do. So True Green would be an example of that, most likely. But yeah, even for them, I would look at like their older ads, like their January 23rd ones are their oldest, I guess.
yeah, this one actually is. It looks like TGM. So I think that's just like a sponsored ad. But it looks like probably February 3rd. So this one looks like it's the oldest one.
Okay.
So okay, this one let's just take a look here.
The best loan, the best price. Nice. So it's more
Okay.
the fun stuff you can do. So like that's a good ad because of a few things, right? It's got a lot of quick cuts, a lot of clips,
Mhm.
and then it hits on a huge benefit to people that people want. Like, why do you want someone to come and cut your lawn and take care of things for you? Because you want to spend your time doing something else, right? No
Okay.
matter how you look at it, you're buying your time back to do X. And they just picked, I don't know, it looks like 7 or 8 of the things that people love, like spending time with their families and probably roller coaster with family, all of that stuff. Bike ride with friends. It looked like all of that.
Yeah, that's a great ad. We're gonna probably make a video similar to that.
Yeah, that's a good ad. You should.
All right. So yeah, that's really good stuff. All right. So back to kind of the schematics of things of like, all right,
Let's go.
we figure out our video, we've got it posted. I don't even think these were videos. These were probably just picture ads. Maybe they were video. I think the P4P one was a video.
That's okay. We can figure it out.
How do we look at this stuff? Like,
Great
I
question.
guess walk me through that stuff.
So, step 1, check your dates. So, in the top rightish corner there, it says Feb 1, 2022.
Yeah.
You're only selected on that one day right now. And so, you're
Okay.
only going to see metrics for that one day. So, you want to do probably maximum for the account in this case.
Okay.
And that way you can see all the metrics for this particular account for the entire time that the account's been a thing, which it looks like you might have started it February 1st, 2022, which is why that was the first date. And then there's a number 2. So first is making sure that your times are right, making sure that you've got the correct dates selected. Number 2 is looking at what columns you want. So right now you're on performance. You see where it says columns performance in the middle-ish of your screen?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of previews you've got set that people have already set up for the campaigns. And if you scroll down, there's a custom one, customized columns. And if you click in there just to show people all the way at the bottom. Yeah. So these are all the different metrics you can see for any given campaign.
Okay.
So if you just scroll from there to the bottom, those are all metrics. You can select any of them. So you're like, hey, I want to learn more about this, learn more about this. And if it were me for you here, I would look at like maybe phone calls placed if you have phone calls set up.
So the ad that we're building is we're going to build a lead gen to where they can fill out the information on Facebook. So that way they don't have to go to a different site. So
Yes.
with that information, how would we want to set this up?
Great question. So on the right, you currently have 17 columns selected. So you've got campaign, delivery, ad set, bid strategy, budget, last significant edit, attribution, result, reach, impression, cost per result. So result is going to be your leads. Cost per result is going to be your cost per lead in this case, if you're doing a lead gen campaign. So this is perfect so far. Quality ranking you want, engagement rate, conversion rate, amount spent, ends, and schedule, all perfect. So we're just going to add a few things. So over on the left, click that box where it says frequency. And we were talking about that earlier. Very important. I would click on clicks all and clicks cost per click right there. And I guess you could go click through rate too, which is CTR right beneath that. And then if you scroll down some more, I would do CPM, cost per 1,000. Yeah, perfect. Impressions. And then you don't need any of that. I wouldn't think that you would. You shouldn't need any of that or any of that or any messaging. No. Are you running a video?
It is going to be a video.
Okay. So these are nice for me because you want to look at your retention on your video to see how well your ad performs. So I would look at like video plays at 25%, the top one, and maybe 95 or 50 or like however long you want to judge in between. And then if you scroll down some more, these are more clicks that are also very important depending on the ad type you're running. In your case, they don't matter. I just want to say that for viewers, just so people know. Ad lift is good if you're running awareness, but this isn't awareness, so keep going. A lot of these, so these metrics where it says, if you scroll up just a bit to the top of that list that you're on, it says standard events. Those are pixel based. So when you put that whole setup on your website with the pixel and tracking and use Google Tag Manager, or even if you just use the Facebook pixel, whatever it is, these are the metrics that are based off of that pixel. So if you set up the pixel for like contacts, when someone does the contact us form, you could select total and it would show you the total number of contacts that you've got and the cost. If you select leads, it would do the same thing, but that's only for over on your website. This is not for the lead gen form that you're running. This would be like if I'm running a conversion ad to a website, sending traffic there, and then tracking how that traffic performs. And then it would depend on what I choose. And then if you scroll down more, those are the custom events, date created. You probably don't need anything else. Nothing else is like super, super key.
Okay, cool. And then we click apply.
I would click apply. And then real quick, click on that custom, the arrow at the top there. And I'm just going to have you save this so you can see it easily next time. So columns custom, where you just clicked in. Yeah, right there. And then click save right by where it says custom. And then name it whatever you want to name it. So next time you have that.
Justin's guidance.
Perfect.
That's what we're naming it.
Got it. But okay. So that's selected. That's the data that we have. Now, if you scroll over to the right, we can start to see that data, all those columns.
Okay, perfect. So it looks like definitely the P4P video got some clicks, right?
Yeah, link clicks. So you probably sent people to your website at 32 cents per link click. You spent $52. Your frequency was very low, which is good because you did not spend that much money. CPM's great. Everything there is like, those are good metrics.
Okay, so let's go through this so I understand this. How do I see how much money I fully spent on this one?
So you selected the entire time already. So that's important to remember again when trying to look at full budget. And then if you scroll over to the right, that's your daily budget. If you see that you have cost somewhere over here, where was it? A little bit more, maybe a little more. There's a cost right there. Amount spent, $52.
Okay, cool. So we spent $52. Our budget was $5 a day. So what is this 7-day or 1-day view?
Great question. And that's another one. I could talk hours just about this one thing. So this is your attribution window. And every single platform has this. This is like the general setting that Meta has. And that's a 7-day click or a 1-day view through. And what this means is when someone sees your ad, so I'm scrolling on Facebook, I'm scrolling on Instagram, I see your ad, pops up. I keep going, I leave. I just throw my phone across the room, whatever it is, right? I don't see your ad anymore. I didn't do anything with your ad. I didn't engage with it. I didn't do anything. The next day, if I were to somehow go over to your website, Military Lawn Cuts, and take an action, and you have a pixel on your website, that action would be attributed back to that ad that I saw the day before. So that's called a 1-day view. So you have a 24-hour window after someone views your ad in which they're going to take if they take any action on your website, it gets attributed back to that ad. And then 7-day click means I'm scrolling on Instagram, I click on your ad, right? Go to your website. And then I just leave. I don't do anything. I don't opt into anything. I don't have any more clicks, nothing. But 6 days later, I go back to your website and I fill out a contact us form, or I fill out a form saying, I want you to come cut my lawn. And then that, because of that form fill is being tracked with the pixel, it goes back and is attributed to the ad.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So basically it's just verifying that it's a legitimate lead coming from this ad. If I understand.
Yeah. But you can adjust those settings.
Okay.
So that's a lot of bigger brands will spend a lot of time figuring out the proper attribution windows and how to attribute. Because if you're running ads, let's say on Google, right? Like pay-per-click stuff. Let's say you're running Microsoft pay-per-click, YouTube ads, Pinterest ads. Facebook ads, connected TV, you're running on Hulu, you're running on all these different channels. And then I see your ads and I see them on 4 channels. And then lastly, I see like a Instagram ad and I actually convert from that ad, meaning I opt in, I want you to come cut my lawn. But I saw 3 other ads from 3 different channels beforehand. Each channel wants to raise their hand and say, I did that, right? Like connected TV is going to be like, that was me. Instagram will be like, I did that. Google will definitely be like, I did that, because they all want you to pay them more money. So they all want to take accountability for that lead, because it's like, all right, I generated that, so you should pay me more money because I'll keep generating you more of those.
Yeah.
So setting that up so it works within just the platform itself for that platform. And sometimes you can break things out. It's called data-driven attribution. So each one gets a chunk of the pie. So like that one conversion is like Google did, a quarter of it, 0.25.
Yeah.
Meta did 50% of it because I converted from there. So it'd be 0.50.
Yeah. Okay. So between like the 7-day or the 28-day, does the system just decide that, or do we have to manually put that?
You manually put that.
So would you recommend for
7-day,
us?
7-day
Probably
click.
7-day. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Because otherwise you don't want to give Meta too much praise, essentially, is what I think of it as. Because if you're like all of these conversions, if Meta wants to take all of them and say, I was in charge of driving all the traffic that got you 400 leads, they all came from me. Even though in reality, Meta probably didn't do all 400 of those. It probably did half, if that. And so you want to like minimize that window, in my opinion, to attribute things back, because otherwise it's just going to drop your cost per result and it won't be accurate.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so for moving on, so with 4 results, right? Link clicks. Are these 165 people clicked the link to go to this video or to the website?
Great question. So are we allowed to like dig into this campaign?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so if you click edit, you just click edit right underneath that ad. Yeah, so there's 3 steps to every meta ad. You're in the campaign level. You selected the employment category. Were you trying? Oh, you're trying to hire. Makes sense.
Yep, for a hiring video.
Yeah, makes sense. Scroll down. So you entered the auction, normal. You did traffic. You're just trying to drive people over. $5 a day. So then go to the next level down, which says P for P hiring video on your left. There's like 3 little steps. Yeah, perfect. And then if you scroll down a little bit, so this is going to be all of your like what you're shooting for at the top, which was link clicks. Right here's your days and your schedule. So you're scheduled, you got a start date and an end date. You could add your spending limit here. You could budget schedule. There's a lot more you could do. Your audience, it looked like you targeted the entire United States, it looks like. So that was probably a bit of a waste of budget, because you probably next time want to only hire people in your particular location.
Yeah.
So you would edit that and only target people there. And then particular age groups and genders, languages, you can add detailed targeting. There's a lot. And then you've got your placements, which is like, I don't know, if you click see more options there. Oh, I'm sorry, click edit on the Advantage Plus placements. Yeah, and then scroll down and click manual placements. I always do this. I never do Advantage Plus. And then scroll down a little more. You can select like each specific area that you're showing up, because Meta auto opts you into all of these again, similar to what Google's trying to do. And they even will take you off of Meta. So like apps and sites, those are just media placements that Meta's bought across the web.
Yeah.
A lot of it's like you're playing in an app, Candy Crush, whatever it is, and those weird videos pop up, and that's like from these guys. And so like
you would probably want to uncheck that, right?
I always uncheck that. Always. I that's just a waste of money. Same with a lot of, if you scroll up, there's a couple other ones that are usually a waste of money, but it depends on what your business is, what you're offering. Like I would always do, where is it? It depends on what you're selling. Sometimes Facebook Marketplace is a waste. Sometimes the Explorers, Instagram Explorer, those are sometimes a waste. It really depends. And if you scroll down, a lot of like Facebook in-stream videos, that means someone's streaming on Facebook and then your ad is showing up in their video. I generally don't want that. Ads on Facebook Reels, I usually don't do that. A lot of them I don't do. But essentially this is just like the placements that you can choose inside of Meta.
Yeah.
And then to answer your question, sorry, to go back all the way back to your link clicks, if you click into the next step down where it says new traffic ad, yeah, that's your actual ad. And if you scroll down, we can see exactly what you did. And so you did a image and video to going to your website, and see how it says apply now right there. So the link clicks are most likely on there.
Okay, so when they click that button.
So that means 165 people clicked that button at, I believe it was 32 cents per click to apply for the job. It doesn't necessarily mean they all applied for the job. If you have proper tracking set up though, you could follow up with that, or you can set your level to the next step. So instead of just tracking like a link click over, you track the actual conversion, which is someone applying for the job in this case.
Yeah. Okay, cool. To me, it doesn't sound too bad that 165 people were interested.
Oh yeah.
Granted, they were across all the United States, so their
Exactly.
minimum wage was probably way lower than what we were paying. So this is why you get involved with an expert like Justin, so that way your ads aren't wasting money, right?
That's true. Right. Yeah.
So
that's very true.
How come? Okay, so impressions versus reach, like why are these different? So
reach is the number of people that saw your ad. Total number of people. Impressions is the number of times your ad was saw. So the difference is reach is people, impressions is just their eyeballs viewing it again and again and again, which is why you can have a reach of like 10,000 and like 30,000 impressions, because the same person could see your ad 6 times, 4 times, 3 times, whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And ideally, if we're running ads for spring, you maybe don't want to show your ad more than 3-4 times to the same individual until you start to get the.
For you, yeah. If you run it, I would say if your frequency is over 3.5, I would look at either switching your audience or running different creative.
Yeah. Okay.
For you, 100%.
This is great information. All right. So 32 cents is what we were paying per click, which doesn't necessarily mean that they signed up or that they put their information in. This is just we brought them to our page to learn more.
Yes.
So we will have better data because we are building a lead gen ad where instead of seeing a cost per, I guess, result, it would be cost per submission. Am I accurate on that?
So for a lead gen ad, it will just be cost per lead. That's all it would be. And because you're running lead gen, it'll be on Meta, which means you don't really necessarily have to set up any pixel tracking. You don't have to have a lot of things that you would have to have if you're running a conversion campaign. It's very easy to run. Anyone can do it really quick. It's a good campaign.
Okay. So for our kind of lead gen ad on Facebook, we aren't specifically worried about customer acquisition cost on this, correct? Because we don't know I mean, I guess we could go back at the end of maybe our 30-day sprint of this campaign, be like, all right, we got this many leads, we spent this amount of money based on these numbers for the amount spent, and this is how many converted. We could figure that out, but this isn't necessarily going to give us that, right? Because these guys don't know. All they know is you got a lead and this is what you paid for the lead.
Yes, but after that, the lead is yours. And if it converts or doesn't convert is more on you. What you probably want to do, and this is what I would recommend, is setting up some sort of spreadsheet, funnel, tool. There's a bunch of tools that do it for you for free, but just tracking the lead, right? That as they come in, you could use Zapier or whatever you have to connect things, but you track the lead and say, all right, I got these 20 leads. We'll just make it really, really simple. I got these 20 leads. I called all 20 of them. Of those 20, 5 people converted, right? And so it just becomes a math problem. So very simple. The 5 conversions. So let's say each one of those is worth $100 to you. We're gonna make it really, really easy. So you've earned $500 then from your 20 leads, because you've got 5 conversions at $100 is how much it's worth to you. So taking that number back to Meta, then you've got a $500 worth of positive. How much did you spend on Meta? And let's say you spent $250. And so if you spent $250 to get 5 leads that closed that brought you in $500, you're printing money. You're spending $1 to make $2. That's great.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. That's good information. That's really good. And I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this video, by the way, because there's so much gold value in this.
Oh man, well, sadly I'm a nerd about this, and I could talk about it all day.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't know why I'm made this way. Why?
You are passionate, dude. Listen, okay, for everybody, I'm gonna drop this real quick because I want to make this a real quick point for anybody that is still watching. When you find somebody like Justin that is passionate about this stuff, that lives and breathes, like, dude, you are the wizard on this stuff. Like
Thanks,
and
man.
I know who you are as a person too. Like, you are honest, you have faith, and like, you're just an all around good person. And so, man, I wish the best for you and your business, and to be prosperous. And so, man, I'm praying and rooting for you, dude, to like
Thank you. Thank you.
crush it.
Thank you. Same
Like,
same for you guys. And I think about it all the time, like when we're just goofing off, like playing our video games or whatever. I'm always like, oh, you know, you're doing so well, and then I'm doing well, and like this is nice. And like, go guys, go
absolutely.
team.
Absolutely. So, all right, let me jump back right in over here. So I had to make that point, dude, because I am your biggest fan. Seriously.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uh,
Very kind.
as we kind of maybe come towards more of a close on this, so as
Click on yeah, I was about to say you can. So you're clicked into the ad set right now. There's the 3 steps at the top. So
Mhm.
click over to campaigns where it says one selected, down just a little bit, up a little
Yeah,
bit. Yeah, yeah, and then click
exit
on
out.
campaigns. Sure.
Okay.
And then now
Okay,
you're
got it.
there, and that's the one you selected. Yeah. It
Okay.
takes a minute to like understand how this is maneuvered. And there's the 3 levels again for any ad: campaigns, ad sets, ads. And that's the 3 tabs you see at the top.
Oh, okay, I got it. 1, 2, 3.
Yes. So when
Perfect.
you click into each one, depending on what you've selected at the level before, you see on
Mhm.
that next stage.
Okay. All right. So I see the frequency. So we already went over that. That makes sense. Okay. Clicks all. I'm assuming that's just them clicking on it, saying
Yeah.
apply now.
Yep.
A cost per click. So again, I think we already somewhat got that data. It was like 32 cents
Yeah, it's
per
very, very close.
conversion.
And clicks all just includes people that have just clicked on other parts of your ad, which is why
Okay.
you see that number a little bit lower and the cost per click's a little higher. But anyway.
Oh, got it. Got it. And then, so for the click through rate, I mean, is this like 5%? Is that average? Is that low? Is
Oh,
that
that's good.
high?
That's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Click through rate. It really depends on your campaign type, where along the funnel they're running. So if you're running like a retargeting campaign, you want the click through rate to be higher than a regular campaign that you're targeting cold traffic. There's a lot that goes into click through rate, and there's a lot of like, there's no like, this is good, this is bad. But for this, because you're targeting like cold traffic that don't know your brand, they don't know who you are, that's a good metric. Like 4.78 is a good click through rate to shoot for.
Okay. And then CPM,
Yeah.
cost per impressions. Oh, okay. So this is just,
Yes.
if 1,000 impressions, it's probably dividing that out. So you're
Yes.
spending about $14 to reach 1,000 people to see this ad.
Well, not to reach 1,000 people, but to show your ad 1,000 times.
Show your, oh, okay. Got it.
Yes,
Got it.
because that could be shown to, let's say, 900 people, but 100 of them see your ad twice.
Got
So,
it.
but CPM matters a lot because that's how a lot of media is bought and sold. And so,
Mhm.
if you can get a lower CPM, that's like huge in the advertising industry as a
Yeah.
whole.
And one of the things that stuck with me last time we spoke, because the way that you worded this really sat in my brain well. So instead of, because when I told you, I was like, hey, man, we're really getting into these Facebook ads, and I'm doing
Mhm.
like research and knowledge and all this stuff. And you're like, oh, that's awesome. So you're going to invest in your business.
Yeah.
Like, most people look at the paid advertising route as like, oh yeah, we're just gonna like spend money, and it's like an expense. It's like, no, this is, you're investing in your brand, you are investing in your reach. And the whole thing about business is like telling people what you do so they know about you and they can like
Yeah.
reach you if they need assistance. So if
Yep.
people don't know about our services, like, it was a really good like framework of mind to reshift from like, oh man, it's going to cost me
I'm spending
$10,000.
10K on this. Yeah. What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're spending 10K to invest in your
Oh, yes.
brand and
Yeah.
build that mind real estate in the customer's brain, so when they think mowing services, they think of you, you know?
Yes. Yeah. You're trying to stay top of mind for them for sure. You're trying to stay with it for sure. And like all the bigger brands, every big brand, they will spend millions and millions and millions, not expecting to get a single cent back of like instant return. But over the
Mhm.
long time, they're going to keep building their brand, and they're going to keep their returns will be exponential, but they can't see it all right away. So they'll just spend it on awareness campaigns that you literally can't track like how it performs. But then there's also obviously a number of campaigns that they'll run that are more focused on conversions and ROAS. So like a couple of the brands I'm working with right now are super focused on ROAS. And that's just like for every dollar that you spend, how many dollars are you getting back? Return on ad spend.
Yeah.
So it's really digging in and saying, I'm running this conversion campaign. I'm spending $1,000 a day. Am I making $2,000 a day back?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot easier to do with like an e-commerce business, but you could definitely do it with yours too, Will. So when you run your lead gen, you get 100 leads, 10 of them convert. Each one is worth however much money to you. Did you make more money than you spent on that campaign? And that's a really good way to do it when you're a smaller business. But in addition to that, always bear in mind, I would say, even if you break even 1-to-1, you're winning because more people now know about your brand and you've grown your company more than you would have otherwise. So even if for every dollar you spend, you get $1 back instantly. In the long run, you're investing in your business, you're building your brand, you're getting out there, you're staying top of mind for more people. So even though you're only making $1 back for every dollar you spend, so you're just breaking even, you're generating more awareness, you're generating greater brand reach.
Got it. That I think was the best point of this whole thing for me. I was like, all right, that's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
So as long as you're breaking even and spending $10,000 and as long as you get 10K back, you should keep doing it.
Yes, 100%. Okay. If you're a small business, like I've got a lot of different irons in the fire, I guess you could say, and things I'm trying to like run and start. And that's like my mindset with all of them. If I'm breaking even on ads, meaning I spend $1, I make $1 back, I'm generating more awareness, I'm building my brand. This is great. And I will spend as much money as I possibly can. I will spend 20,000, 50,000, as much as I possibly can to continue to get back that same exact amount. Even though I'm not making a cent of money, I know in the long run, it's going to really, really pay off.
Yeah, that was gold. Great information. All right. So these last couple columns here. So this is 25% video plays. So probably like 790 people are watching this at 25%. And then is this like the drop off rate? So by the 95th percent of the video, there's only still 17 people watching. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay. So then that just tells me like, hey, we need to make the video better.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you go into that custom column set, you can actually reorder them too. So that 50% can go next. Yeah. So you can set the whole level and you could see the whole thing. You could click 3 seconds. So how many people watch 3 seconds of your video? Ooh. How many are there at 25%, which depends on the length of your video. So if I have a minute long video, how many are there at what's 25% of a minute? 60, 25, 15. Is that 15 seconds? How many people watch 15 seconds of the video would be 25%. 30 seconds of the video is half of it, 50%. And then you could choose 75 and you could choose 100 and you could see the whole drop off.
This is great data because it's like what this is showing me is from 25% of the video to 50% is where the biggest drop off is. Because if you look at that, there's only 31 people watching at 50%. So in that video, that's where we have to fix. Like that's where we're losing them.
Well, yeah, definitely. But if you click into that ad, click back into all the way to the top, on the top where it says ads for one ad set.
Yep.
Right there. Yeah. So now click on the box to the far left next to like the little blue slider. Yeah. And then up right where it says more in the middle of your screen. To the left of that, there's like a little picture.
I see it. More. Got it.
No. Next to the more, the little like picture thing.
Oh,
yes. Yep. Click that. And that previews your creative. So now click pause on the ad or scroll over it to see how long it is. Like the core one there. Did you only run this on Instagram?
I don't know.
Oh, there's 100 ways to do this same thing. I just wanted to do it the fancy way so you could see this part too. The one to the right. Yeah, just click play on that one and then pause it. It's 45 seconds long.
Yep. 45 seconds.
With 40, now you know the length of the video. So when you're looking at 25% of 45 seconds, what is that? 7 seconds? 8 seconds?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. So people are watching the first 6 or 7 seconds, 8 seconds, and then dropping off massively. So you've got their attention at first, and then you sort of lose it. But that happens on most ads. But trying to keep that retention rate up is what makes really great ads.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. Yeah. This is such gold.
This is the stuff. Yeah.
this is it.
Good. Awesome. I hope I can help someone out there.
Yeah. No, dude, this was phenomenal. This was such good content for anybody that is looking at doing paid advertising. You could take the time if you have the time to sit down, go through it, and study and live, eat, breathe, watch podcasts, YouTube
Do it.
videos, read
Breathe it.
books. Or you could reach out to somebody like Justin that literally knows this stuff like the back of his hand. He does this for massive companies, been doing this for a decade. And so, Justin, if somebody is watching this right now and they're like, I've got some money set aside for marketing, I know the importance of advertising and paid. And you, like here's the thing before I get into this. You can literally pull all of the data. So you know if the ad is working or not. You would literally probably save people money instead of wasting money them trying to figure this out, right?
Yeah.
So how can somebody that is maybe interested in these kinds of services with you, are you taking on new clients right now in your business? And if so, how can they reach out to you to maybe reach out and do like a call to see if like it would, be good
Okay.
for a good fit for you guys? Like what does that process look like and how can they reach you?
Yeah, great question. So I believe in a lot of like value up front and trying to help people, like literally just try to help people. That's like my whole mission. So I have a website, realgenericAds.com. It's super fun, super fancy. Anyone can go there. I have a contact us form there. You can also email me, just Justin@realgenericAds.com. Never mind hearing from anyone. I also have my LinkedIn, just Justin Lautermilch. Follow me, shoot me a message on there. I love, love, love helping people and talking to people. And I would love to just jump on a call, walk you through like what you're currently doing, what we could be doing. I'd never mind just giving away like free tips for a lot. When I'm really pitching like a bigger business, I like to give a ton of value. And I did this for ASRV as we were talking about, and go like slide by slide and create this massive presentation showing like all the areas of improvement for any given account. So that could be their YouTube ads, their Meta ads, their Google ads, their Microsoft ads. It really doesn't even matter. And go through and screenshot like, all right, here's an issue, here's an issue here. We need to be spending more here, not here. You're missing this audience or this target market, and digging in. So, I mean, if you want me to do like a full, thorough analysis on your media ads, I will definitely do that for you. Just give me a message, shoot me a message on LinkedIn. My email works as well. Whatever's easiest for you.
Yeah. Literally take the 30 seconds, send him an email. It takes 30 seconds. Send him an email. If you're on the fence about this, just talk to him. And again, this is somebody that I fully trust, Justin. I really appreciate you coming
Of
on and
course,
adding so much value to me, not only just me, but the entire audience. Thank you so much.
of course, man.
This was
Of
great,
course.
man.
I'm very
Seriously.
happy to help. Very, very happy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.